meet my team operations head Yagnesh Kubawat, and then we've got the main VA Rochelle. All right, she's going to be working.
Rochelle.
Yeah,
Okay, so
we're
she'll be
recruiting a
working.
few more people for the after hours support so that she doesn't get to work extra hours.
Mhm.
We're on it. So first, Rochelle is going to be taking it over, and then next week possibly we'll onboard a couple of more people.
Good,
Hi,
Rochelle.
Trin.
Hi, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking.
Actually, so just want to tell you that so I live in Mumbai in India, and so I do look forward to working with you. I do understand your expectations from us as a team. So you're basically looking in terms of coordinating with your guests in terms of on chat, email, and call whenever they need us 24/7. And also, I do understand that we need to communicate with vendors. Also, see that the work is done, as and when we tell them to do it, and keep a check on it as well, and also follow up to see whether it has been done what we are asking them to do, and also to update the listings of the property, as well as sharing the listings on our social media platforms to create awareness, so that guests can see and then kind of then have that interest. Once they look at the pictures, then they can and as and when it keeps coming on their screen, then they'll kind of say, okay, yeah, I just see this, let me check this place out. So I think it's good to create that awareness on social media as well.
Okay, cool, good. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So also, whenever I mean, I guess you can work on this is when you are chatting, is to be professional but also very personal. So that way they can feel like they're not chatting with a robot.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
be very welcome
Yes.
to them, and we always try to ask them how their day, and hope everything's great. So yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
it's that's one of our main thing is like when we do professional service, it's like sometimes the professional service are too professional, where it cuts out all the personal aspects of it out.
Correct.
So
Correct.
we want
Correct.
to be professional but also personal as well.
Personal. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Correct. That's right.
Mhm. Yeah, that sounds good. So, so Yanish will be the supervisor.
Well,
Okay.
I lead the entire operations vertical. So we will staff a supervisor that Rochelle will work with. That
Uh-huh.
supervisor reports into me. So I look after, um, I'm the COO of the organization,
Uh-huh.
and the entire operations is my accountability. So I'm
Uh-huh.
your escalations point of contact. If there is an issue that you run in with Rochelle or the supervisor managing a project, if there is a
Mhm.
feedback that you want to share, if there is any additional operational aspect that you want to include in Rochelle's tasks, I'm your
Mhm.
point of contact. I ensure that everything gets executed as per your expectations. And if there is an area of opportunity for us to improve, I'm there for you to reach out, and I help fix that.
Okay, and we will contact you through email, chats, or
I
how
So
do we?
am available on the platforms that you're comfortable with. So if you are comfortable with email, I and Donald are available with on email as well. If you're comfortable on WhatsApp, absolutely comfortable. If you're okay with Slack, we do add you to our Slack workspace. Or if you want any other mode of communication, we can always explore that. So we're supremely flexible. At least I'm available to all our clients on their preferred mode of communication.
Okay, good. Um, so I guess we can talk about the onboarding. So it's me and Jenny's properties. So Rochelle, it seems like Rochelle should be the one main one with it. So with my properties, I will add you to the Airbnb co-host, so
Okay.
you can have access to the chat. And also, I would actually give you, I guess, the password to the VRBO account, because I don't think the VRBO account has the co-host,
Correct.
unless you guys know of a way around it um, to get through.
Directly on the Verbo platform, there is no option. We with some of our clients are exploring Guesty, as a platform to manage both these platforms.
Mhm.
And we have recently started trying to explore further options within Guesty to see if there is an option to add additional IDs. We were able
Yeah.
to spot that, but it is extremely buggy. So I would not
Yeah.
recommend it right now.
Yeah. Right now I have Hospitable, but I'm thinking of getting rid of that to go to Owner Res. So I don't want to get you started on Hospitable if I'm gonna change out the platform. So I'm just gonna directly add you to the VRBO, give you the account number, and then just add you directly to the Airbnb co-host. Um, so what with my property, Rochelle? So what I have cameras on all the places. All the properties have cameras. And this doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen sometimes where the cleaners forget to show up. And that's why we have cameras. It's mainly to make sure that the guests checked out, and when guests checked out, the cleaners are in. Sometimes they clean from 1 to 3, 1 to 4, or like they do the morning shift or the afternoon shift. But we just need to know that by 2 o'clock, and if they're not in there, we need to call the cleaner and say, "Hey, are you coming?" Because sometimes we do catch them like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a clean today." So just to make sure that the place is clean for the guests to come through.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's very important. So like every time there's a check in, I mean like a check out, I always make sure that the cleaners are gonna be there. And if they're not gonna be there, because sometimes the cleaners, if they don't, we don't have a turnover that day, and we don't have if we have a check out, but we don't have a check in that day, the cleaners
Okay.
will wait until tomorrow to clean. But we still
Okay.
want to check. We still want to check. If they don't show up that day, we're like, "Hey, are you coming today?" And then usually they would like, "Okay, well, since it's not a turnover, we'll come later that day or tomorrow." And then when they say they'll come, we just want to make sure that they're in. So that way,
Okay.
yeah, because I've been caught one time where they didn't show up. And like once that happened, you just kind of got to be very cautious. And
Okay.
we have messages to send out to guests. uh, Airbnb is quite easy because Airbnb has auto messaging
Correct.
that we set up for check in, check out during the stay. So three main messages. So you send them check in messages, which has the house rules, the codes. So Rochelle, I think it's very important for you to go through my listings and read the whole listing to know more about the houses, because guests are going to ask you about those questions. And then I would go through all the messages, because right now it's going to be slow. It's not much going on right now. So use this time to study on the houses, make your charts, and make sure like each house has where belongs in what in the house. Because as you read through the messages, you'll see questions start coming up that are the same questions over and over again. And then you'll see my response to that and try to, sometimes you just copy and paste. But by seeing the response, you know um, how to respond to the guests and where things are. So in the check-in message, it'll give you the house code and the rules, the trash, the main thing. And a lot of time you see that guests do not read those check-in messages. So whenever they ask for those things, take a look, skim at the check-in message. You'll probably find the answer in there. So that's the check-in. And then after they check in 2 hours later, because check-in's at 4 o'clock, checkout is at 10. 2 hours later at 6 o'clock that day, I send them another message saying, "How's everything? Hope everything's good. Please let me know if you need anything," just to catch up with them, an
Mhm.
opportunity for them to say what we need to do. And if they say something like, "This is dirty," we definitely get on the phone with the cleaner and ask them to come and clean, or, whatever the problem is, we try to resolve it. And then I send them another message the day before checkout, and that is their checkout information, that telling them what to do for checkout and what time checkout is. And then I send them a message after they check out to, please give us a review and have a wonderful trip. So those are
Okay.
the main messages, and those are automated with Airbnb. So they're pretty easy with Airbnb, but with our VRBO, they don't have that. So you have to manually send those. So I would save those messages for each houses, have different messages. Like each houses have different messages for check-in and check-out, but the other messages are pretty standard. So I would save those and then send them for the keep track of the VRBO, check in, check out, and then send them for the VRBO.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the basic right now. Like as we go along some more, I'll add some more in for you. But right now it's checking up with the guests and making sure that they're okay during their stay. And so, and it's important for you right now to know where things belong in which house. Like one of my house and like the name of the houses, because when we talk, we're not going to go by the address of the house. We're going to go by the name of the house. Like
Okay.
one of my house, Aquapina. The name is Aquapina, and it might be a good idea for you to write the address because sometimes the guests don't look on the platform and they don't see the address. So they'll ask you, what's the address? So you just send them their address real quick. The Wi-Fi information, they'll ask that, even though it's in the house manual and in the check-in. they'll ask for that as well. So like, yeah, one of the things like I get asked a lot with one of the houses, Aquapina, where's the pool light? Even though I have notes in there, but the pool, you want to make note where the pool light is. It's in the pool pump on the right-hand side. So yeah, just basic stuff like that. So and you'll learn that when you're reading the listing and you're reading the messages of the questions that the guests ask us the most.
Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, it's like it's pretty straightforward. We can do this from Texas, and our properties are all over the place. So I'm sure you can do, from India as well. The most important thing is that when there are problems, to find out the solution for it. Ask the guests questions. Like one of the example is that we have 2 houses that have pool in Florida, and that will be your biggest headache because people love pool, but they also love to. Main thing is like when it gets cold, and because our pool are heated, and we do charge $25 a day for pool, and the message does come out when they book that if they want pool heat, for us, if they want pool heat, then we charge them. We do the request for money. We send a request for pool, and they'll accept that. And then make sure that if they want pool heat, that they pay for it. And we don't turn on and off the pool heat depending on people want it or not. So if they don't pay for it, then we just say, hey, we're giving you pool heat for free. Because we're not going to go through and turn it off. It takes so much energy just to. Give me 1 second. My laptop's running out of battery. Hold on.
X, we're probably going to have one more person, not right now, but then we can talk about it that we are going to be staffing someone to make sure, and at the same time insist on trainings that we've already spoken to all the VAs that are joining us recently about the kind of interaction that these folks need to have with the guests, giving them some great experience talking. Of course, we're not going to do something really, really special with the language, but then it has to be absolutely courteous, and it has already been conveyed several times to all the new VAs that are joining us from the other teams. Let that be written communication or a verbal communication. It has to be highly professional without any grammatical errors, and utilizing the phrases that could be very Americanized, like instead of keeping them very, very Indian or British way, So we just have to make that one thing sure. And Trin, hi, this is Donald. We spoke on the chat.
Yes, hi, Donna.
Yeah. So everything that you just covered has already been covered with the candidates, with everyone. We do make sure this one thing that communication happens to be the backbone of the business. And yes, Yagnesh has been handling property management clients for a good amount of time, and I've been actually into property management and real estate business for the last 12 years. So we totally understand the nuances that we need to be maintaining during, the interactions, specifically with the guests. That be turnaround time, like a guest waiting for a response over over the chats. That has to be really, really minimalized. We tell
we are very fast with our response time. So, because when someone is upset,
Yeah.
you'll make them more upset if you make them wait longer.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
so yeah,
Yeah.
they tend to, if they appreciate it when we respond fast to their
Yeah.
issue.
True.
Uh,
So yeah, if Rochelle has an opportunity here to become the manager of the next VAs that are going to take over probably in a few days, and then we can have Rochelle, because we have very less flow during. Just give me 1 second. I'm letting Jenny in. All right. We do have. Okay, we do have very less flow during the after hours. So majority of the staffing is around the American working hours. So after a very long time, we got to again punch in during the after hour services. And Rochelle happens to be the fit who agreed for those timings. And at the same time, she has those leadership skills. I mean, previous experience comes into picture here. She's been into multiple BPOs, business problem, BPOs, and then she's been into customer front roles. So she does know, and will always be there. The supervisors, including Yagnesh and me, polishing them throughout the transition, like the language. Let that be language, their ability to move around the systems seamlessly. This is what we're going to be doing. I mean, that's the reason we have a team instead of just working with just one freelancer or a VA from any of the freelance sites. That's the key takeaway from our services. You can be
Okay.
rest assured on that front.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. We're all excited to work with you guys, and I'm glad you have a lot of support to get this done.
Thank you.
And most of the time, it will be during the business hour, 9 to 6. But sometimes when they check in late, they might have like a couple questions here and there. That's why we wanted to do 9 to 9 to make sure that we cover all ground. And sometimes, we'll wake up in the morning and we see messages from bookings or inquiries through the night. And that's okay. They know that they ask questions in the middle of the night when people are sleeping. So we'll respond to that in the morning
Right.
when we get to it. So yeah, but that's the basic of my setup. Rochelle is quite simple. Like we'll start you off with that, and then we'll add as we continue.
Okay.
My house codes are in the check-in. Once in a while, we'll change it, and I'll definitely update those information as we change it. I'll leave it over to Jenny now, and she can tell you the stuff she needs to get done at her houses.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jenny. Sorry, I've been
Hi, Jenny.
trying to get on and
Jenny.
such. So, so yeah, my setup is very similar to Trin as well. We are actually trying to get on a REST. It's one of the property channel manager that can link all the property together. So whenever you try to make changes to that, it will push it out to all the platform. So you don't have to go to each individual like VRBO or Airbnb, to make changes. But right now we have to, because it's not linked yet. And I know there's a wait time to push it out to VRBO also. So basically, mainly is that, we're trying to like answer guest inquiry instantly. One working hour, we expect that we reply, because that what make the different customer service that make us our property unique. Let me that make our property unique, and the customer service very important to us. I basically, answer them instantly. 99% of the time. Of course, the other 1%, I may be, not access to my phone, etc. like that. And the other thing we want us to look is that the check-in time. So make sure they can check in. Okay. I don't ask guests to say, hey, you had to let me know what time you check in, like that. But normally the check-in time is 4, and that's when they normally arrive, except sometimes they arrive late or whatever. Then I kind of monitor them. Once they check in, it's all fine after that. Like we said that, okay, we leave them alone, and then I have like automate message the next day, say, hey, how is going with the check-in? How's the last night? Is everything up to your standard? And then they would tell me it's what's going on. Sometimes they give me a list, sometimes they don't. And, you know, I try to answer the best I could to it. The other thing that, you know, I also like look for is also like, you know, make sure they check out on time. And then also like, you know, make sure that the cleaners have access to the calendar. They know when is the check-in, when is check-out. And also if, you know, if the property is sitting empty for a long time, I also have them schedule them to come back for sorry, let me
A touch up. So this,
yes,
if the
for a
property's been
refresh, yeah.
empty for
So
like
a
2 weeks
refresh,
or so.
yeah, beside that, I also have like other, you know, device, the lock device, which is normally, eventually it will automate, you know, all that number out. All the number out. That's my husband.
Hi, Kenny.
So we're gonna automate all the number out. So eventually it's gonna be a lot more automation. So all you need is basically just focus on customer service, and then, you know, just ensure that the guests, and sometimes we have trouble is that the lock is jammed like that. So we always have a backup way to let them in. So, you know, we also have like the garage automation. I can push the button open on my phone. So you're gonna have all access to that. The same with like the, you know, the cameras. So we want you to like, you know, open the cameras and everything up. So my daily is gonna be like this. So whenever you log in the morning, you basically open up all, and, you know, the increase and look over all the, you know, check-in for today. So today is check-in. I wanted to look everybody that have, you know, make sure that they have all the check-in detail has been sent. They have the code, and I verify that the code is like, you know, accurate and like that. And then, you know, the second thing I'm gonna look is like the people who have is coming in the next 7 days. So I would look through like, okay, all those messages should have been sent out already, because I scheduled a message, the check-in message, to send out 7 days before their arrival. So that will help you to say, okay, if this person don't have check-in messages, check-in detail, it means that we are missing something, you know, so you have to like get on it and such. And then, you know, look through and also to see if any fee that pending. For example, they bring a pet and they haven't paid a pet fee. Normally, we try to send those right after booking so that we can remember. But then sometimes they don't actually paying it, you know, or the pool heat fee. So I wanted to go looking through those as well, you know. But of course, priority is that when you are logged in for the first time, you check all the new messages to try to solve those first. Once you solve them, the next thing is like, okay, what, you know, all of this maintenance have to look over, right? And then look at the that. And then other thing that in the future we would like you to look at is like also the maintenance for the schedule for the staff, like, you know, the air filter and all of that. You're gonna basically make sure that send them like pest control. We're gonna send them make sure the availability and coordinate with them to have them to like come in, give them create a new code for them, so that they can come in, arrive, you know, in the house and outside, etc. So those are basically just everything related to property. Just like Trin, we operate very similar, and we have very similar in the same area basically. So we operate very similar, except that now she's still using a different software to manage her property. She's gonna convert to owner race anyway, and eventually we both gonna have own. Basically approachable, and you know, polite, you know, but it's like not have to be formal at all. because you know you wanted to have that connection with guests as well. So that will give them a good impression of how, and then you will see that there's a lot of things like how we handle situation. So for example, if guests would tell you like, hey, the pool is not heating, so there's several questions that you will ask, right? Before you say, okay, let me send a pool staff, because we don't know what it is to send a pool staff. They will ask you the same thing. They ask you like, what is about the pool heat? First of all, ask them and say like, the pool feel cold. I mean, normally we will have like the floating temperature device that will read it and like, can you look at the temperature? What does it say? Okay. And next thing you do is ask them to see, can you go into the pool heater screen and take a picture to say what it said, and common issue like, they say FLO, it means that the water level is low, so they stop the flow, so those are the things that you wanted to actually ask questions before you actually solve it, because if you don't know the issue, you cannot solve it, right? So most of the time by just like solving them, or they will ask you where it is, where that. I have one property that have 3-way switch. Think about like in your home, right? Just like most of them are very common sense. They just like you, they don't live in the house ever, so they don't know where it is. But looking over the messages, you will know like, okay, this is what it is in the past, right? So you will understand like how to solve, show them how to solve the problems. But as I say, it needs you a little bit investigating before you actually take actions. Yeah, I think that's all I have. I know I have a few others, but I forgot what it is. Jen, you want to chime in if you remember anything for now, and then
I think that's pretty much most of it. Is Rochelle use this time to read over the old messages, and I would create a chart of most frequent asked questions.
Okay.
And make a list of that, so that way when it does come up, and most of the time it will come up, you have the answer to that. And in the summertime, or even right now, the most common question is going to be the pool is cold. And that's when we tell them, can you look at the temperature on the pool or the temperature on the pool heater to see what it says?
Yeah.
And you'll see what our common answer to that is. Like a lot of time, like we set our pool temperature to 85 degrees. And if the temperature outside falls below 70 degrees, the pool heater is going to have a time reaching 85. So even if we do provide pool heater, it is not guaranteed that you're going to get 85. Like if the temperature is 30 degrees outside, there's no way with pool it's going to be 85 because it's an open pool.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like any amenity that we offer, we ask that you also do a little bit research, and it's very easy, to be honest. You just Google it, read our old message, Google and say, hey, what to do with the pool, how to operate pool heater, or the question like that will help you understand like those amenity and how's the issue come up. And then most of them have the, answer in there already. So basically, on the downtime, we expect that you self-educate, because we encourage all like our staff to self-educate, because, we don't want you to downtime and do nothing, but self-educate. And then we will give you some material, as well, but also like on your all the time you wanted to research, because we wanted you to kind of grow and improve with us, not just like, okay, this is what my job. There's a lot of future growth with our, all our business, and we will want you to be able to improve that and grow with us, so that, anything. And in the future, there's maybe some like paid course that we can also like, pay for you education as well. In relating to the field, of course, relating to your job, so we are open to those as well. And of course, at the beginning, we will send you some of the basic information that you could learn about. And as I say, you also wanted to research on the side as well. Say, okay, how the pool works, and how the pool heater works, or how this AC work, etc. So basically, a lot of them are just for you, for you to do research and learn about that, to know how to operate. Because, I'm a woman, I never like touch any of the electronic device. I only ask my husband, or I research myself, or ask my fellow to learn about those. So it's pretty much the same. I never touch them. I don't understand how it works. I basically can verbalize, how it works. So that's pretty much that, I do majority of the time, to answer this question. And most of the time it will solve itself. And of course, if it's like worst case scenario, we will call our local team to come and support us. If something that we cannot do, but we're gonna ask our pool staff, say, hey, can you check out this? And then learn when do they come, because all the check-in messages, you will know when do they come. So okay, today is Thursday and it's not important, they come tomorrow. All you need to do is like, yes, we will notify our pool staff since they come tomorrow to check out this. There's nothing urgent about this to have to like solve today. Yeah. If the pool like leak out and yes, we notify them right away. But if you say like, okay, this is a, the pool heater doesn't seem working right, or like the pool heater, they seem to like working overnight. We don't send them, still stuff like that. Say you have to come now, but you say yes, we will notify. I'll see if they can adjust that for you tomorrow. Okay, so these are the things that basically just common sense and learn how to solve a problem, so that we don't waste the resource, but also give the guest satisfaction. For example, if something like, urgency, if they say, okay, there's a mouse dropping in the middle kitchen. Yes, that's urgency. I would say, oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. Let me get on it. So basically we try to call the pest control to see if they can trap that. We can see if, if they write on something sanitary issue, we're going to have a cleaner to see if they can come and, clean that area, etc. So basically, we're going to solve. If anything involved further, that you think is escalate, you can always ask this question. And as I say, the first couple of months, you're going to ask this question all the time anyway. We want you to ask questions. We wanted you to train you and guide you to the right way to solve the problem, to also answer guests, so that, most appropriate. And then after that, of course, if anything that you can't solve or can control, then, escalate to us, ask us question and reach out to us. And then we can support you that way. Okay. But as I say, we also have a lot of local group that you also ask questions too. And then, there's a lot of, we will add you a lot of Facebook group and ask them questions how they solve it. To be honest, if we're not available, there's a lot of resource out there that we ask. And sometimes we do use those as well. Because sometimes we say, okay, this scenario, we never come across it. So we're going to see what the best way to handle this, So it's still like to get satisfaction, but also not to cost us, too much resource or too much like, into budget.
Understood. Sorry, I just had a couple of quick questions. The first one was around the fees. Now, I understand that there's a separate fee for heating the pool. There is a separate fee for allowing a pet at the property. We've had instances with some of our existing clients where the guests have not notified that they have a pet, and it's after the check-in when we've reached out, we've realized that they have a pet. Now, in those circumstances, our existing clients are very clear that if you identify that situation, do follow up with the guest for the pet fee. Do we insist on such instances, or we let it slide through from a customer experience perspective?
It depends, it depends. To be honest, if the guest is like, paid a high price for that stay, I normally ignore it. If they actually, pay a low, then I try to get it, but, I say you wanted to do it very politely. As I say, we trying to get it. If we can't, then, it's really, we don't want them to revoke like, like a bad review. We're going to ask them like, we know that you have bring a guest and we haven't charged you for it. So we send a pet fee. So basically just very politely tell them that, and send a fee. If they don't pay it, forget about it, but if, the guests that already paid for the high price, like, holiday season, they pay a lot, then I normally like, forget it. I'm not even like gonna trying to get them. But if like, the guests that already get a great deal of it, then I'm, I basically send, to kind of make up for it.
Understood. Okay. Absolutely. And so the other piece that I quickly had a question on, and this one gets a little tricky with our clients, is the damages that are identified by the cleaners when the guests check out. Now,
Okay.
Standard practice is to get the before and after photographs so that we have the right evidence to raise a claim in the respective portal.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So I know that let me interrupt you real quick.
Sure.
I know that you other people have do rental arbitrage and apartment efficiency. They have a small unit, so they have very small margin to pay for it, right? With us, we are large property, luxury property, and we actually have a high margin. So normally that's why all of this is accounting for all of it. So for example, if they just dirty a towel, I'm not even mentioning, or like a linen. That's why I buy the linen about $30-$40. If I have to lose that, that's fine, because that's what I say. With us, we let go a lot of stuff because that's why we also charge them a premium price.
Understood.
But think about this, we have to pay our pocket a lot of stuff that other like smaller unit won't. So that's why we have that margin. So if if they broke a chair and it's not their fault, sometimes it's just wear and tear, so it depends on the situation, and we can guide you through that. If it's just a linen or a towel, we don't even care. If they burn a part, we replace them. We don't even try to send them. But if they party, they cause a lot of damages to the house, then yes, we definitely will try to get those guests. And rarely I hosted for 2 years plus, and I probably claimed them probably 3 times max. It's because all of those 3 times are because the guests had a party. But the rest of them is it's really nothing at all. And the other time that I want to also add it on is that we had the noise monitor, and that is also when we have if it's our range, especially during quiet hour, that's when we also have to remind the guests, and then we also have to give them a call as well, and then make sure the time change different. So 9 o'clock Central Time is basically 10 o'clock in Florida time. Okay.
Correct.
If it's 10 o'clock and they are noisy and above threshold outside, if they're inside, I don't care, to be honest. The inside, it depends on the house, and I will give you the scoop down of it. Most of the house would have no issue. If they're inside and they put a little bit louder music at 80 decibel, it's fine. Nobody gonna hear from outside or the next door. But there's only one property that will cause that, because the next door neighbor will hear it. But we are about to sell that property, so that won't be an issue. But as I said, I just want to give you some example, of how it's operate like that.
Understood.
Go ahead.
Well, so you've anyways clarified the question that not every time do we pursue a claim, that most of the times we'll let it slide depending upon how bad the damage is.
Yes.
Like I've mentioned, and you've clearly correctly pointed out that some of our clients operate on a very small margin, and that's why the persistence to pursue a claim and get it approved is always very high. But
Right.
your rationale definitely clarifies all my points. Thank you. Rochelle, any questions from you?
No questions right now.
Not right now. Trin, anything else you want to add?
So yeah, Rochelle, so can you, I may, miss the first part. Can you, so who will be the main person that took care of property? And then what time is that main person gonna be?
So Rochelle will be the person who will be working on the project and taking care of your entrance properties. She will be aligned during the hours that have been agreed with Donald. I am your escalations point of contact. So if you have issues with the operations, if you have feedback to be shared in the way Rochelle and eventually the team that will be aligned with her is performing, then I'm your point of contact, and I take care of every other issue that you may face.
Okay. And what time Rochelle gonna be there daily? I know you're gonna have the other team that cover when Rochelle is not there, but I wanted to know what Rochelle hours gonna be mainly, so that we know who we're talking to, and also because Rochelle gonna be the one that we would train majority of the time, that will also have that education, and she will be the person that also delegate back or hands off information to others when she's not there. So that's why we wanted to know what is her hours likely, so that we know we concentrate on those training and such during those hours.
So she will be abiding by the shift hours requirement that you guys have. Like if I remember it correctly, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. or 10 p.m. Yagnesh, what is it?
No, we
10
do it 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central
Yeah,
Time.
so she would be available at that time. That's going to be her working. Yeah, but we don't want her to be working 12 hours. So we would have some things over after she finishes, maybe like 9th hour. So with and then an hour's break.
So probably about 9 to 4 or 5, right?
Because we do have our US support team coming over, so someone will have someone take that over. I mean, Michelle is going to be, I'm sorry, Rochelle is going to be handing things over to this person, and this person is going to be closely shadowing about the activities that she's been aligned to every day for the next few days. And slowly, it's going to be a period where Rochelle leaves and someone takes it over and finishes the shift. Same is going to be the case during weekends. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just want to verify that. Let's do that. Make sure it's 9 to 9 Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, it is. It's written. Yeah, it's written on the email. So I don't have it in my mind right now, but then it's written in the email.
I know it can be confusing because we are in Central Time, but our property, the first one coming up, is going to be Florida, and that's going to be Eastern Time. If we do 9 to 9 Central Time, that's going to be 10 o'clock over there in Florida. And when we start, we definitely want to get started on the day early over in Florida. That's going to be your,
Totally.
It's better to start early.
Absolutely.
So that way we start right 9 o'clock on Eastern Time.
Absolutely.
And then,
just to reconfirm, Trin, that would be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, correct?
yes, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the most part, the evening will not be much, but we just want to have coverage just in case they have questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then normally it's more than the follow-up. For example, in the morning, guest report issue, and during that time that we're trying to solve it, and then it takes time for them to answer you. And by the time you activate a local staff, it's time. It's like sometimes they cannot come right at the moment, but sometimes say, okay, I'll be there at 4 to 6, 6 to 8, etc. And most of the time the AC issue, that's when, morning, that's when they can arrive that day, what time of that day. And then sometimes, they will, in the morning, they will tell you the issue, and sometimes you follow and they won't let you know until the end of the day. So that's more likely, like that. And then someday you have a lot of inquiry in the evening, and then some days nothing. As I say, we want a coverage so that we can have a better customer service. And eventually in the future, we actually want more coverage, probably from 7 to even 11 o'clock in the future. Yes. But right now, this is where we want to start with, and to see if, and we reevaluate the work and then coverage, and then we go from there. Can you let us know a little bit about Rochelle experience?
Yeah, Rochelle, please take it over.
About my past experience, right, Jenny?
Yes.
Okay, I was working for Emirates, actually, for Emirates Airlines for 10 years. So I was in customer service, so dealing with customers all over the world, and basically making their bookings, changing their reservations, even dealing with mishandled baggage and the frequent flyer program. So I was a senior agent there. So I was handling all those cases. So we used to talk to customers. Basically, our work was customer service, dealing with passengers directly with regards to bookings, everything. So I have that, I do speak. I mean, I am comfortable speaking to customers, and even in terms of vendors, how here we have vendors in the airlines. We had to, for mishandled baggage, we had to speak a lot or rather coordinate a lot with people who would, deliver the bags to the customer, see that it's come on time, because customers sometimes have to leave for the next flight and their bags have not reached them for the earlier flight they took. So now we had to coordinate all that. So that was usually what I did, for 10 years. I was in Emirates.
Okay, that's awesome. But with the Airbnb and VRBO, this is your first time, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
Okay, and Yanesh, are you familiar with like the different platform of our channel manager like OwnerRest?
So OwnerRest is something that we will be exposed to for the first time, but the team has extensive experience in working directly on the Airbnb and Vrbo platforms. And the other platforms that we work very closely is Guesty. That's one of the platforms utilized by 3 of our existing clients. We've recently launched with one of our clients in the Pacific Standard Time, where we're currently utilizing, and give me one quick moment to pull that up. That's a platform which is fairly similar to Guesty, but not exactly that one. Just give me one quick moment.
Sure.
While I pull that information up, in terms of getting Rochelle ready to start in the interim, if we start in Monday, we will get her to review the tutorials which are currently available, so that when she starts on Monday, she has a head start on the, and the time that will be required to be invested in quickly picking that up would be lower. That is something that we will definitely ensure that we do that.
Let me ask you this. So like normally how the past, the other client onboarding, like do you add them to like?
So when our clients are working directly on Airbnb without utilizing any then yes, they add us as a co-host. We have a specific ID that we provide to you, where you can add it as a co-host, and then we are able to respond on your behalf. Vrbo unfortunately does not give that option. So for Vrbo, we request our clients to share their credentials with us, so that we can respond on your behalf. Guesty again does not have an option of adding an additional user. And that's why for Guesty as well, our clients share the credentials for that platform with us, so that we can our agents can respond on their behalf.
Okay, yeah. I mean, on OwnerRest, we do have a way to share you. So it's definitely like we could do that. The only thing is that they won't actually have the we're not like linked to VRBO yet, because it takes a long time for them to board us on. So so yeah, if you can send us your information so that we can board you in, whatever platform possible. I may sign up to Hospitable for now also, to see if I can link both, so that you can actually use one platform to, why we're waiting to board the rest of them to OwnerRest. But yes, so if you, Rochelle and Yanes, if you can get familiar yourself with like the Hospitable and also OwnerRest, could be great, so that we can have a day to boarding. So next week gonna be a tough day. So what I'm gonna do is I have Trin to board the property first with you, and then once everything's set up, I will board mine, because I will be in and out and back to the cabin where they don't have good internet, and I won't have a cell phone cell signal, so it's really hard, but I will try to make it work. I may have to drive to Trin property. But as I say, Trin and I both have the property in the same area, except one that she doesn't have is Destin, and then I don't have is like Smoky. So only 2 property. The rest you would see very similar, and we basically right next to each other. Yeah, we on the same road. Other thing I wanted to ask is that like you guys have the way to call out to the US number, right? If you need to call the guests or need to call our local staff.
Totally. So I'll pick that question before I give. First, I'll get familiar with is Hostfully. That's one of the platforms that our recently launched client uses with properties that he manages in the Pacific Standard Time. He works with Hostfully, and that's the another platform that we're familiar with.
Okay.
In terms of the making calls to guests and vendors, the way we work on that front is we pick a number which matches the area code where your properties are located. So it gives more of an local feel. And that number is assigned to the agent working on your project, along with the team that would handle the project.
Okay.
And that point on, they are absolutely able to make calls to any United States number.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I do the same thing. We have a Google voicemail, and that we assign a number, and we actually, share that, because I can install that, you can install that, my husband can install that, so we all know what's going on. They can call that number, or
Yeah, if you can share that number so we can let our team members know that
Yeah.
this
See,
who we're
if
working
you
with.
can like share a number that have Florida area code 850, so that we could share that. We can have that the same number
Understood.
to call. Yeah.
So we'll assign a number with the area code 850.
Yes.
I would probably go to the extent of probably sharing a couple of suggestions if it allows us. If not, then we'll pick a number with 850 and you and Trin.
Yeah.
So you can share it internally with the team that's the number that the new team member will be utilizing to call them.
Yes. And then the other thing I want to, quick question. How do you like the Hostfully? I mean, I have Hostfully right now. I'm about to onboard them to go to Owners. What do you feel about Hostfully? Did you like it more? It's complicated?
So considering that we have exposure to Guestly, and the interface is fairly similar, the time that we took to get used to Hostfully was not that high. Now that we have another platform to quickly get used to, it would be an interesting comparison for us to give you as well, in terms of which one's the better one, whether Hostfully is a little more complicated or a little better than where we're trying to onboard. But as of now, the team has not come back with any adverse feedback in terms of any complicated screens or steps needed to manage properties on Hostfully as well as Guestly.
I think, yeah. We probably decided to Owners because that's more usual with that, and they have some feature that we like, and it's more mobile friendly. So sometimes if we on the road, we have iPhone, it's easier to use those, and they have really intensive report that we love. Easy to get the revenue generated, all of that. So that sounds great. I mean, right now I don't have any other question. I'm sure it will come up during the training and such.
Yeah.
Do you have any other question or want to know?
From my perspective, I'm crystal clear on the expectations on the next steps. For us, internally, the two deliverables that we have is to get Rochelle ready on the watching the tutorials for the new platform, and we following up with our voice provider to align a new number with the 850 area code, so that by the time we start from Monday or Tuesday, we are all set on that front. And Donald, add which you can utilize for adding the co-host account. That will ensure that Rochelle, along with the team, is able to keep an eye all throughout.
Also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that we need to have a chat, kind of like how Donald, you and I and Jenny in a little chat, so that way when there's any problem come up, we can talk and communicate.
I was about to cover that, if you guys are comfortable utilizing the cell phone number, which is connected to the group, we create a group that has all the cell phone numbers of the people that are managing the project, and we have Jenny, and we do have access to that cell phone web voice, and we can keep track of the conversation. I personally insist on the fact that we all remain under one roof as a group, as a team.
Yes,
We don't have to repeat ourselves,
right.
and specifically for the clients, we do not want them to be going back and forth doing the same thing over and over again. So we take it over. And it could be cell phone, it could be Facebook, it could be Hangouts, it could be anything that you guys prefer. We all are going to be together.
Yeah,
predom-
so I have, other, so in the past we use Facebook Messenger. And I think those are the two good options so that, we take away from the regular cell phone because, the regular cell phone, sometimes it's like so much text messages going through. So that will also take a lot of like, embedded messages and then, to go through them. So I'm thinking like WhatsApp or like the Facebook Messenger will work as well.
Yeah, Facebook account is like, we do have several Facebook accounts that we could keep it as a centralized account so that the same group, the same Facebook account is used by all the VAs that log in for the shift, so they know what's going on, and then they can, go read the previous messages and do the handing over, taking over seamlessly. So I guess Facebook is good option.
Yeah, I wanted to one more comment. I mean, two more comment is that first of all, the Airbnb and we have a lot of privacy information from the guests and all of that. So we need like information to be confidential, and that the VA at least have some background check to have access to the confidential information. So that's something that you probably wanted to take it seriously, and we want to take seriously as well.
Totally. Don't can I take that question?
Yeah, absolutely. We are pretty serious. When last time, I do not know if I told her. I come from an military background myself, and I really insist on the fact that why do I tell that? Because I love precision and accuracy at the same time, honesty. It's a deadly combination.
Right.
It's a very deadly combination. So we deploy a few softwares where the screen tapping is done. At the same time, there is an audit team that is constantly monitoring, at least, every VA, whatever they're doing, so that we know what's going on. I mean, no data theft or no site communication, no nothing. I mean, it has to be as clean as that. So we do not tolerate this. Yeah, Agnish.
What Donald just mentioned, other measures that we take is one, a background check is done on the VA before we even put them up in front of a potential client. The other bit that we do is every individual who starts working with us needs to sign a non-disclosure agreement that confirms that they abide with the data privacy rules that we have put in place in our organization, and what would be the follow-up action that the organization will initiate within the bounds of compromising on any of that. So that is an additional safeguard that we do apart from everything that Donald has mentioned in terms of screen tapping, screen auditing, to ensure that even if someone has signed the document, if they believe that they can sidestep, we have those additional measures in place to ensure that it does not happen, because we understand personally identifiable information, if compromised, leads, if more than anything else, it can affect our host's credibility. That's the last thing we would want. Most of our hosts also trust us with their financial information, their credit card information, in case they need help in ordering supplies. So that's the level of confidence we've been able to establish with the rest of our clients, that because of the measures in place. So you can be absolutely rest assured that every PII is safely guarded in our organization.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for assuring us that. As I say, we wanted something with a long-term solution, not just like, we want to try and off. That's why we wanted some company that the group that credible and safeguard our information and such.
Absolutely.
And let's say the other thing is, what is your background, Yanesh? Your background, are you in IT world or?
So My background, I've spent about 12 years with India's largest IT services provider, Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, where I have experience in growing teams from minuscule 15 to about 180. The largest team that I've handled is about 250 people, billable associates. My large experience comes in managing first and second mortgage operations. So I understand real estate largely. Why did I start working with outsourcing helpers? I had to take a sabbatical for a year to look after my father. And the Indian job market does not understand sabbatical leaves. Every time someone is taken a sabbatical, it is assumed that there has to be an issue. And that was a time when I wanted to reinvent myself. I really did not want to sort of compromise on what I've already achieved. And Donald gave me that particular opportunity to build on what I had already achieved. So I started off as a consultant at outsourcing helpers on certain operational aspects. And in about 2 years, I went on to become the COO of the entire Winged Human umbrella, under which we will send you our contract. So that's a little bit that I do, that I've done.
Okay, welcome. Thank you. I'm sure that we have a lot of opportunity for you guys.
Oh,
And, you know, if
absolutely.
it's worked well, we definitely give you a shout out and a lot of referrals. Because well, I know that a lot of owner and hosts in the same situation as us. We expanded too fast and we don't have enough help. And, not enough help, but the right help for our business and such that we can trust and we can actually easy to train and, hands off. So, so if, it works out great, we definitely give you a big shout out and, go from there. All right. That sounds great. Thank you so much. And that's all I have for question.
Fantastic. Well, I've taken on all the deliverables for us that we need to complete over the weekend and send you the information. As the next step, Donald, I believe we'll send out the SOW to them.
SOW, yeah. The SOW come the NDA, which will have all the points that we just covered. It'll not have the contract period. We don't want to lock our clients to the contract period. I mean, this is what we've been offering. Like you can pause and resume the operations anytime you want. I mean, we definitely not fire the VA because we understand there are assets, so they would be utilized somewhere else. And when you want to come back, you give us a heads up at least a week or 10 days prior, and we deploy another team or probably the same team if they're sitting at the bench, not deployed to the project. So yeah, so all these points would be mentioned, the rates and the responsibilities and everything, and we'll be signing a contract with my LLC there in Wyoming. We go from there.
Sounds great. And do you have provide anything that we can also file for tax as an expense?
I'm
Do
sorry.
you know anything about that? And I mean, for the for the expense that we are paying for your company, does have anything that do you understand the way that yeah,
The taxation. So this is how I've been doing right now. So we do have an American. I'm not directly taking the fees basically into my American bank account because of the taxations right now. We're trying to sort it out. We do have a third-party banking account that is directly linked to our Indian bank account with the same company's name. So we're liable to pay the taxes here. Pretty soon, I guess I will be liable to pay taxes there in the States as well. We're trying to work it out.
I meant is do we have some sort of invoice like that we can use as an expense?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Don, I'll take that question. So in terms of invoicing, we sent you a weekly invoice for Payoneer. There we attach attendance come invoice report that tells you the number of hours that the VA has clocked in versus what have we billed. The Payoneer invoice that you receive will have an invoice ID. that you can pretty much utilize as a reference point while filing your expenses in your tax return. So that should help you.
Thank you, Yex.
Yeah, if we could do like monthly invoice would be better, because it's a lot of work for us to trying to do.
I guess Trin already spoke to me on the chat there. We're going fixed monthly.
Okay.
Yeah, 1,000 is what the fixed monthly thing for 12 hours support right now with the current existing volume of the work, and then we can reevaluate if we have to deploy a few more people, then definitely would have to be compensated so that we can deploy more people, you see. So we did have a chat on that one, Trin.
Right.
Yeah, and for sure, if you guys do a great job, we're not going to stifle you on the payment. We are definitely, we are generous in that we take care of our people, and we just want our business to be taken care of. So you take care of business, we'll definitely take care of you.
Yes.
So definitely, I think what Jenna was saying is like, we just want to be billed monthly and not weekly, because that's too much work for us to do weekly stuff.
We try to have work, not
pay.
add more work.
Yeah, we'd rather just get paid, like pay you guys once a month and be done with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, at the beginning, what we can do is that we bill us at the end of the month, and we paying you right then. But once we know that it's something that permanent, that we will, that's work out for us, we can pay you the month in advance, instead of, just like you in the email you said that, you can pay in 1 month in advance to get that 5% discount, whatever. I mean, that's not the, the important part, but as I say, it's all about if it's a permanent solution for us or not. So we wanted to make sure, everything else can work out very nicely. And we very, as I say, Jen said, we're very generous, we're very easygoing. We just want it to work out, and because we have tried different solutions and it didn't work out. And, that's caused us time, a lot of time that we wasted. So we don't want that. But once everything work out, I'm sure, we can work out, others solution and such.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you try working out with another virtual staffing agency before us? Like, what was your
Not the agency. We haven't tried any agency.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, we haven't tried any agency at all. We tried a different individual VA because that's what we wanted. We wanted an individual VA because we want that person, that VA, to grow with us, as a part and dedicated to us, but just like a team. And we don't want it to deal with so many different people and then they have others focus. We want them to focus on our business only. So
I have something to say here. I mean, this is, I guess I didn't get to talk to you guys over a call. We were chatting. So we're this, like, we take it here, like a freelancer versus an agency that understands what it takes to be a brand in a particular niche. So we want to say that we want to be a brand and we have got bigger plans, and this is our business to keep people engaged and at the same time warm and happy with us. I know it's really hard to do that at cutthroat margins, but we're ready, and we're highly customizable when it comes to managing people. We do have a lot of benefits and care. At the same time, we tell our clients that, do what you're good at, leave the people management to us. That's our business. You don't have to worry. For you, my people are always going to be your people. And at the same time, let's say, just for an example, if Rochelle is doing great, and as a client, we're just limited to a specific time frame and we're limited to specific tasks. Rochelle wants to grow, like, everyone wants to earn more money. I mean, so we identify these kind of skill sets, like I spoke about honesty and precision. So if we identify these qualities, we say that, all right, Rochelle, this is your first client as a manager. Now you're heading the team. The VA comes in and, the VA takes over and does things. The client is still at the same budget, We don't disturb things. Now, Rochelle becomes the main operations manager here for this particular project, and at the same time, a couple of more projects so that she can supplement her income. She's overlooking probably 5 to 6 hosts with maybe 7 to 10 VAs. That's the future. However, if the client is like someone like you, they say that, hey, we grow, you grow, Rochelle gets limited to this particular business, and we develop a team under her specifically for this client. So in all the ways, it's a win-win. There are clients that have been paying just $730 for the last 5 years. And we take it, we respect the client, and we understand it's a constant business, whatever the amount is. And the VA that was working over there now is managing the project, and along with managing 6 more clients just like that, and VA gets to grow. More they take, and if they need assistance, we'll deploy an assistant under the manager. So that's how we do it. We understand the importance of growth and importance of sticking to a client's expectations.
Right, because this is just a start, because we're gonna have more
Sure.
responsibility added, to if Rochelle is gonna be the right VA for us, and we added more to that. As I say, is we want them to grow with us, not just just to stick like this is just a job. We want them to see if it could become like a specialty for them, and then help us out, and then do other stuff for us. But as I said, this is just a start, because this is what our immediate need. We have other stuff that we need to be done too. But right now we kind of like spread them out to different people, and different way of doing it. And we also do it in some. But once Rochelle get down this customer service, we want to add more responsibility. And as I say, we also have a network with another partner that, but he doesn't believe in that hand off this yet. So but eventually he will, because right now we already have someone that do marketing for us, so that is taking care of me and him. And eventually Trin will also on board too, because she haven't seen the benefit yet, but we already started that part. So the same with this, we wanted to see concentrate, because we believe that with all our business growing, we have enough work for that one VA to grow with us.
Wow.
So that's why we wanted that, to that trend really well, because we don't want them to be trained, going through different, VA and stuff. And of course, if we try Rochelle a month, if it doesn't work out, then we definitely, we'll let you know, and then say we want to stick somebody that, I say that one person is very important, because we want that person to grow with us.
Yeah.
And, and of course, if it's more responsibility and such, if we feel like, we haven't compensated you enough, we will. But, we want it to be also fairly. We also like not like, just to be frank, we're not a stupid person. We're generous, but not stupid that let, people walk all over us and try to like scam us. So I just want to put it out there, because, that sometimes it's come across that way, and we get it all the time. We say, yes, we look young, you look young and innocent, but we're not.
True.
Not Jenny.
I'm 44 years old. I've been through that. I was, a pharmacist and, leader in my field for the longest time. I know a lot of people in the field, pharmacist now with the real estate. So I just want to put it out and say, we're very the nicest person that you have met. You also like, you can, but we just want to let you know that, that's our personality. We wanted to work out. We wanted to have a healthy relationship and a bond and a connection and a be future. And trust me, you will get a lot of business from us if we got a shout out, because we got a lot of network in our team. Yeah,
I was
lot of
only
people
excited
wanted
about
to,
it. Trin told me about that. Yeah. Trin did mention about this.
Yeah, I just don't have time. I mean, I tell them, I wanted to help you, but I do not have time at all. So, but that's why we're doing this, so that can free up our time. So for other things. So we just wanted
that way
to
we
work
can go out and get more businesses.
Yeah.
When we don't have to do this.
So that you don't have to worry about,
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want you guys to be at a position where you micromanage things, like, just come and say hi to the team, and the team is taking care of you go spend a vacation somewhere, acquire properties. With that, like,
Yes.
we have a marketing team as well that we're planning to deploy, helping the STR businesses. And we are planning to we're planning a separate team to get into transaction coordination so that we can help the property investors to do the transactions, like, So this is our plan, so that we set up different teams for that could be of help to businesses like yours who understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. As I say, there's a lot of growth in this field, and if this is just a good start, and we would love to get a connection and
Thank you.
work with you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a great week.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you,
Bye.
Rochelle. So I guess we'll re-intervene on Monday. Will you guys send me the email to where we can onboard you to our accounts?
Sure.
And
We'll be
I'll
sending
help you
about
do it, and
an hour.
then-
We'll send it to
Yeah.
you in about an hour. You should have that.
Okay, that sounds perfect. And do this the chat, the communication chat, start that. So that way on Monday we'll be ready to go with these things.
Understood.
And don't worry, Rochelle, we will be there to help you at the beginning with the questions from the guest and make sure that everything is okay. I think for the beginning, whenever the guest asks a question, send us your response first. Let us take a look at it.
Okay.
And we can give you tips and pointers on how to respond a certain way to make it to where it's professional and personal at the same time.
Okay.
So don't worry, we'll help you with that. And then we don't like to micromanage, so we're going to do a lot of training with you at first, and then we're going to let you go solo.
Okay.
And then we expect it to be, because the summertime is going to be busy, so let's just get ready for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All righty then.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Take care.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.